Is there any way you could, any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Shakur Stevenson was spotted at Gervonta Davis's camp this week, sharing gym time with Calvin Ford and a few of Tank's sparring partners. The visit came just days after reports surfaced that Shakur had done some light sparring with Jake Paul in Puerto Rico. When asked about it, Shakur brushed it off, saying he was simply helping the best man win, without confirming whose corner he was truly supporting.
Can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
okay.
It just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But
the visit wasn't just casual. Shakur spent time watching Tank's drills and was even seen talking with Calvin Ford between sessions, pointing things out as Davis worked on his counters and setups. Shakur reportedly told Tank not to chase a knockout early but instead to draw Jake into exchanges where he tends to overcommit, something Shakur said Paul still struggles with under pressure. Despite Shakur also training with Jake Paul, Calvin Ford didn't seem bothered by his presence. In fact, the two appeared relaxed, trading technical notes while Tank hit them.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying?
Always analytical, Shakur told Ford that Jake relies too heavily on predictable straight rights and that Tank should go to the body early to set traps for the overhand shot. For someone who hasn't been part of Team Davis before, Shakur looked right at home. What's fueling all the attention, though, is the timing. The fact that Shakur sparred with Jake and then showed up in Tank's camp adds a strange twist. Jake's team hasn't denied the sparring session either, only saying it was mutual respect work.
Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin. Some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaws.
However, Shakur still believes that Tank should have rematched Lamont Roach. Speaking recently on the Ring Champs with AK and Barack, Stevenson questioned Tank's recent decisions, especially his refusal to run it back with Roach after their disputed draw. It just depends, Stevenson said. As a fighter, if I had a draw with somebody, I'd probably run it back. But from a business standpoint, if you rematch Lamont and lose, and then the Jake Paul fight gets.
Jake Paul brings something to media and to boxing. You cannot miss a fight. I like it, V. I like the drama it's bringing, I'll be honest.
But honestly, nobody really cares about this fight.
Yeah, are you going to watch it?
Yeah, of course. That's how it's going to go. Nobody really cares, but everybody's going to watch it.
He said, nobody cares about it.
He broke down the dilemma in plain terms, the fighter's pride versus the businessman's logic. As a businessman, I understand, Stevenson said. I'm not gonna hate on the decision. But as a man, your pride gets in the way. Stevenson went on to claim that Tank has been quietly struggling with doubts about beating Roach in a rematch. According to him, that uncertainty, combined with rumors that Tank is considering retirement, explains why the Jake Paul fight is happening now. Stevenson described it as a money move, not a legacy move, a final stretch before Davis walks away from the sport.
Jake is big, Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
For Shakur, who's known for breaking down fighters both inside and outside the ring, the Jake Paul fight looks less like a competitive challenge and more like a calculated cash grab. Still, the fact that he said this publicly has stirred plenty of debate, especially since he's been seen at Davis's gym in recent weeks, whether he's genuinely helping Tank prepare or just ops.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight.
What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over.
This fight is crazy, Paul said. It's two of America's biggest names in boxing. It's a 50-50 matchup because of my skill and experience, but my size is the equalizer. Crawford's skepticism went viral. He couldn't believe Davis would take such a risky fight at this stage of his career. But Paul didn't flinch. The unpredictability is what makes it special, he said. That's what makes this amazing. We don't know what's going to happen. Paul insisted the fight is a legitimate test, not just a show event.
I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to some of that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually. I'm not hating on the fight, but I think my thoughts on it is let's watch it, see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said that boxing is turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. Do you agree?
When asked about facing Crawford himself one day, Paul didn't hesitate. I'd for sure fight Terrence. Let's run it, he said. That confidence fits his pattern. He's been gradually moving away from influencer-style boxing toward positioning himself among serious fighters. He even mentioned Canelo Alvarez as a possible target down the line, but clarified, for now, I'm focused on November 14th and getting through Tank first.
Somehow looking good in this. I don't know how it is. It's looked to me, David and Goliath, but David got skill and Goliath doesn't, but I don't know how it's going to work out. But if for some reason it winds up being a really fun event and it has tons and tons of viewers, millions and millions and millions of viewers, when Gervonta Davis goes back to his...
The Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight, scheduled for November 14th, has drawn opinions from across the boxing world, including from Shannon Briggs, one of the earliest professionals to work with Paul. Briggs, who trained Jake briefly in his early years, told KO Artist Sports how surreal it feels to see Paul sharing a ring with Davis. It's great for boxing, Briggs said. I used to train Jake Paul, I got those boys started. I knew from early on that this was going to be something big.
A 92-pound weight difference, almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully. It's like, dude, what are you doing? What don't you understand about this? If you want respect from your peers, if you want...
Briggs didn't hide his admiration for how far Paul has come. They built their own fan base, and look what's happening, he said. He's chasing opportunities, getting a huge payday, and after this, he can either keep boxing or walk away. It's hard to make money in this business, too many fighters, not enough paydays. But he's getting the big one. That sentiment mirrors what many fighters and promoters have been saying quietly, whether fans like it or not. Jake Paul has masked.
The fight is scheduled and everybody's going to watch it. So with all the eyes on it, there's only one result that is going to be of satisfactory. Only one result. And that is if Tank knocks out Jake. That's the only result.